The hypocrisy we display is baffling. We claim to cherish life, yet we continue to unleash wrath upon one another. But somehow, this chaos and suffering lead to incredible progress. The truth is, wars, death, and destruction are the very reason you are watching this video right now. Because it was a war zone that gave birth to the internet. Not just the internet, but nuclear energy as well. Sustainable farming, GPS systems, our modern medical technologies. And I could go on and on. So, to me, it's obvious. This pattern has repeated many times in history, and in this video, I'm going to examine 3 new technologies coming out of the current global wars that I have spotted as an investor that I believe will totally change the future of humanity within the next decade.
The banks rob you and the news is half the truth.
You might have seen these swarms of drones taking the sky hostage in some of the recent conflicts that have conflagrated around us. This time, the revolution in warfare is bigger than anything we've seen before in history. Don't believe me? Let's just take a look at drones. Back in the day, drones used to look like this. Yes, this is the earliest known example of an unmanned aerial attack by Austrian forces on Venice. In 1849, they were using pilotless hot air balloons filled with explosives to bomb Venice. And today we've got Jeff Bezos having weddings there. You judge which is worse. Then in 1918, the world became acquainted with a new device called the Kettering bug. The bug was an unmanned biplane carrying explosives designed to automatically fly into enemy targets. This was the first example of an automated flight system. But truly, it was the Queen Bee in 1935 from which the modern concepts of the drone originate. It was a remotely controlled aircraft used as an aerial target for anti-aircraft training by the Royal British Navy. And if you look closely, all of these examples that we've just cited are very closely embedded within the military context. And now you may wonder, why is that? Well, I can tell you it is not a coincidence. Actually, research and experimentation that costs so much money, is so risky, is just not something that private companies are willing to justify as an expense. These early drones were too heavy, too fragile, they couldn't take payloads, and they were too expensive to build. Fixing all of these issues would end up costing billions, with no guarantee of actual commercial success on the other end of that challenge. This is where the military comes in. You see, with technologies with huge promise that have the potential to completely flip power dynamics globally, governments are willing to pay significant money for the R&D that goes behind them. It's because they know that the opponents, the other great powers, they are spending. So whoever wins will dominate. For example, DJI is a leader in drone technology, and it's built a specific agricultural drone that can fly above fields and spray down pesticide, fertilizer, and even seeds so that you cut out the mistakes, you improve the efficiency, you don't necessarily need people to be doing this, you cover so much more ground so much faster, you're not limited by daylight hours. And in a world where farming has become harder, there are less people farming, and there are more mouths to feed, we need innovations like this. And this is the drone technology that started in warfare that is enabling that today. And closer to home, for those of you who are using Amazon, there are already drone deliveries taking place, so that instead of an Amazon delivery driver at the door, you're getting a drone. But honestly, drones are not the thing that thrill me the most. Another tech development that has been riding the wave of recent conflict
They said that you're most likely to see these robots for the first time in places like theme parks.
is humanoid robots. And I think they are super exciting. And
Hasta la vista, baby.
equally terrifying as well. But in the real world, these robots aren't just fantasy anymore. You see, now, humanoid robots aren't just mechanical bodies. They're sophisticated machines designed to emulate human movements, communicate with us.
My purpose is to provide companionship, engage in meaningful conversations, and enhance human experiences.
And even perform tasks that once only human beings could do. This is a similar story to the one of drones. The development of robots was massively accelerated by military investment. The first use cases were robot bombs, disposal units like these that were used in the Cold War. They were wheeled into conflict zones so soldiers didn't have to be. Today, however, the Pentagon is field testing full-size, human-shaped robots powered by GPT-level AI. These machines understand plain-spoken orders like, "Follow me," or "Open that door," and can live stream everything they see straight into a soldier's AR goggles. So why did war push robot tech forward so fast? Firstly, endless do-overs. The Pentagon pours millions of dollars every year into new robot research. War budgets swallow R&D risks the private sector won't touch, because saving lives, you really can put a high price to that. Secondly, battle-grade testing. Combat zones are literally the toughest labs on Earth. Sandstorms, 50-degree heat, even bullets. And if a robot can work there, then it can definitely breeze through civilian warehouse shifts. A little while back, I had the pleasure of sitting down with Elon Musk's ex-engineer, Dr. Kyle. He has recently bought a humanoid robot for his startup. According to him, there is a coming wave of role restructuring that no one has actually clocked yet. Roughly 42 million people across the USA and Europe still earn a living on factory floors, construction sites, warehouses, doing odd jobs that used to be automation proof because they required fine human dexterity. Their protective mode used to be the human hands. But the thing is, humanoid robots are draining that mode extremely fast. Fortune Business Insights projects this humanoid robot market to reach $66 billion by 2032 with a CAGR of 45.5%. This is not a pie in the sky, it's going to happen in 20 years' time. This stuff is happening right now. Like, you've got Tesla's Optimus robot that is designed to assist you with household chores. Boston Dynamics Spot robot, which is already being used in construction sites to be able to do the maintenance and to be able to survey the various parts of the site.
For your safety, the doors will remain locked when we arrive.
Okay folks, I've saved my favorite tech to last.
Major step forward for self-driving taxis.
No hands on the wheel, no hands at all. More than 2,000 self-driving cars are on the road in California.
This is known as a killer of the morning commute. Yes, you've guessed it. Autonomous self-driving cars. In Iraq and Afghanistan, the US ended up losing dozens of soldiers due to roadside attacks on convoys carrying water and fuel. To cut that risk, the US funded, back in 2011, the first driverless truck convoys. 16 prototype vehicles have been tested live on the battlefield since that time. In other words, today's driverless technologies originated from the military's intention to not lose vehicles and not lose personnel driving through kill zones. There are already driverless vehicles on the road through companies like Waymo, and they have driven 71 million miles to date. Goldman Sachs research is forecasting that by 2030, 10% of all new cars sold will be autonomous self-driving cars, and overnight we'll be giving birth to a multi-billion-pound new industry of autonomous self-driving car hailing. It is totally within the realms of possibility that all of us are actually ending up living 4-5 hours away from our workplaces and then commuting in some of those days and relaxing and sleeping and eating, whatever we want to do in our autonomous self-driving cars on our commute to work. It completely flips the script of what is possible. So in the future, we'll have drones in our skies, humanoid robots at home, autonomous EVs on our streets. 3 war-bred technologies are about to rewrite every part of our supply chain and household budget. For me and the circa 3,000 other high net worth investors with us at Curate Capital, this is a hugely exciting period because you see, if you're thinking about how to gain exposure to the upside of this technology coming online, you might be thinking, okay, I need to invest in Tesla stock, maybe TSMC, right, because of the semiconductor technology, or perhaps even Amazon or Google stock. That's obvious, but there's actually a lot more value for us as investors if we think about the implications and the contours of the shape of the world that will emerge as a result of the obvious rollout of technology. What do I mean by that? Here are a few hiding in plain sight sectors that I think will explode. Number one, you've got the real estate impact. You see, autonomous vehicles are going to reshape fundamentally how commutes take place. Because, I talk about myself, I live in Manchester, which is hundreds of miles away from London, and I take a train down every week. Now, with the rise of autonomous vehicles, I'm not going to be taking a train down. I will be potentially buying a sleeper autonomous vehicle that will drive me down overnight to London. And that's going to be a lot easier and a lot cheaper and a lot more convenient. And before you know it, many more people will start making that move. And so that's going to start affecting housing demand, house prices in places like London. It's going to have new cities pop up that are specifically designed for autonomous driving. The entire geography around us is going to evolve. You might not necessarily even buy your own car. There might be just hubs of autonomous vehicles rather than like Lime bikes or Uber taxis these days where you can just hire it and then use it. There are many other implications of autonomous driving that you can imagine and think about and then invest according to those theses. Number 2 for me is energy demand and storage. A single 100 kg humanoid robot recharges like an e-bike on steroids. About 3 kilowatt hours is what it needs. Now you multiply that by a fleet of 10 million of these robots, and suddenly you've got a new daily demand coming onto the grid that is roughly equal to Lithuania's electric usage. So investments into anything to do with servicing this is going to be completely vital. This is investing in the shovels and the picks rather than investing in the gold digging itself. This is investing in solar farms. It's investing in battery storage. And again, that is just the tip of the iceberg. Number 3, we've got insurance and risk management. See, liability will shift from individual drivers to software providers. And this creates an entirely new market for insurers who are specialized in evaluating software reliability rather than human error. So folks, this is literally in my lifetime, I think the most exciting time to be an investor in technologies and everything around it. I'd love to hear from you. If you're an investor, what are you investing in? What are you excited about? Where do you see the puck heading? And if you like this video and you'd like to hang out further, you can check out our link below and we can have a chat, or find me on LinkedIn. The link is below again. Until next time, peace out. I think that works.
That's fine, yeah. So we've got 15 minutes-ish to like...
Yeah, what are we doing?